What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dalton, back at it again with another deck profile that was kind of hounded at me by Anime X Manga. He really wanted to see both deck profiles, but I can only supply one, as you can see. I'm not Christian. As much as you would like me to be Christian, I can't. It's physically impossible. He's out of shape. I'm somewhat in shape. It just doesn't work, you know. But I am bringing you my 100 Demon deck profile. It is still in the work just because I am missing like one more card, two maybe, just on personal preference and so forth. But as you saw in the match, the deck does work quite well, and it loves to troll. Sorry, Christian. I'm so sorry. Not really. Because destroy, rampage, devour the world. That is the strategy. So as I said, it is a 100 Demon deck with my buddy currently being Inverse Strain Spirit, Kajuto, Yamigedo. Oof, just look at that purple. So sexy. Starting us off, we gotta get in with the buddy, since he's the one size 3 that I run the most of. I run 4 of him. Basically, his Thunder Mine is when a monster enters the field, deal 1 damage, and it's not once per turn. That's amazing. He does have this other skill where you can return an Omnilord or something like that and do effects, but it's completely unnecessary for the deck. It's all about that Thunder Mine. Also has double attack and Soul Guard. Put as many Thunder Empire. Oh, jeez. Where am I going here? 100 Demons on the field into his soul and pay 3 gauge. 8/8. Pretty strong, pretty strong, but not as strong as the new resurrected Yamigedo. Cough, sorry. Heavenly Spectre Yamigedo Mikazuchi. Horrible at this, I know. 9/9, extra strong. Double attack Soul Guard. He gains Thunder Mine for each card in his soul, kind of like resurrected, back in the day when I had that deck. And at the beginning of each turn, you can search your deck, place a card, 100 Demon, into a soul, and, leave it off at that. You're at that 5 life, your opponent has 1. Well, I need to get this next card into soul to just be like, cheese, mate. It's all cheese. And by cheese, I mean the 3 copies of Spectre of Darkness Wasteland. Oh, Yamigedo, because draw burn, it is a thing. Oh, it's so sexy, so deadly. In my honest opinion, I would rather have 3 and 3 and 4, but I only got 3 myself, and it works fine for now. But definitely, I would run 3 Stern Spirit, 3 Spectre of Darkness, and 4 Heavenly Spectre. That is my personal preference. That's where I think the deck will be at its max potential. But that's just me. That wraps up the size 3s, though. The amazing size 3s that are Yamigedo. Off to the size 2s. This is going to be a very long list here for the size 2s. Run 3 copies of Makazuchi, Knight Rebellios. 5/4 size 2. Pay 1 life, Thunder Mine. If your opponent casts a spell, deal 1 damage to your opponent once per turn. So close to be broken. And then when this card enters the field, if you have another Adventurer or 100 Demon on the field, put the top card of your deck into the gauge and draw a card. Advantage, which is so excellent for 100 Demons. They were lagging so far behind in this category. Now, they're even better. Off to the next size 2. Oh, wait. That is the only size 2. The other one I believe you should be running right now. You could be running a more... I'm going to put every Thunder Mine into the deck because Thunder Mine's awesome. But I think you only really need 3 of that promo. Off to the size 1s. This list isn't going to be as big as the size 2s. All right. So we have Guiding Demon Daigus. 3/1/1, size 1. Basically, when he enters, you can put up to 2 cards from drop zone into gauge. Who can argue with gauge gain? It's excellent. I run 4. I could probably get away with running 3, but how else can I showboat my nice rarity? So nice. So nice. That's basically going to wrap up the size 1s. As you kind of might have noticed from the match, didn't really get to use them to full potential, but the potential is there. Must realize the potential is there. All right, off to the size 0s. We're going to be running 4 Haste Evolution Yamigedo. 1/0, size 0. Basically does nothing during the battle phase because that amazing crit, yo. Does have the counter skill of during your final phase, you may search your deck for a size 3 Yamigedo and in its card name, and then you may pay its call costs and then shuffle your deck, yada yada yada. Also has the Thunder Mine when it's in the soul. Now, when an item on your opponent's field attacks, if this card's in the soul of a monster, deal 1 once per turn. So basically, you have an quote-unquote item Thunder Mine, even though it's only when the item is attacking. But it's still nice. It's still nice to have because, you got those pesky knights. Got some Thunder Empire out there, It's not going to do too much against Chaos because Chaos doesn't really run too many items. Leviathan. Oh, you're lucky it's once per turn. You're lucky it's once per turn. Next, we have 4 copies of Mikazuchi follower Gallus Labradus. It's a 2/1/1 with a Thunder Mine, kind of similar to its original form, with a little bit of additional. So basically, when a card effect deals damage to your opponent, if you have a monster with Yamigedo in its card name on the field, deal 1 damage to your opponent and draw a card. Only activates once per turn, because imagine drawing that many times. That's crazy, because each time your opponent draws, you're going to be able to deal damage, and then you'll be able to deal an extra damage, and then draw a card. Each time would be just broken. You might deck out, though. Alright, besides that, the last size 0, we run 1 copy of Great Warlike Disciple Jessica. Why couldn't she just be Jessica, guys? Come on, Bushi. Come on, it's very simple. Bada bing. 2/1/1, blue flame magic power. Basically is when this card enters, if you have a card with Thunder Mine or a size 3 wizard on your field, draw a card. Only activates once per turn. Named ability. Sad day. Pretty straightforward. You could potentially run more than 1 copy, but I feel like 1 copy is more than enough just because you do want to have a lot more Thunder Mine in your deck to actually power up Heavenly Spectre. But that's just me. That wraps up the size 0s. Off to the amazing, brand new, shiny item. And by shiny, I mean it's just new. Heavenly Claw Reiki. I gotta get better at this. 2,000 power, 1 crit. This card can attack even if you have a monster in your center, which is so nice. And then also when your opponent takes damage by Thunder Mine effect, put the top card of your deck into the gauge and draw a card. Ability only activates once per turn, which is fair. Very fair. Nice. It's probably the best item we've gotten for 100 demons in ever, maybe? Cough, cough. Just because all the other ones got outdated super fast / became completely useless. But that's besides the point. Excellent. It's resource gain, and resource gain is key. Very key for this deck. Mainly the gauge. Alright, off to the spells. I run 4. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. We'll just call it invasion. Basically, pay a gauge, choose one of the following effects. You can search your deck for a Yamigedo, which is so decent. Or, if you have a Yamigedo card on the field, put a monster from your drop zone into your hand. Which, honestly, I don't use too much. I might fiddle around with its numbers. I might drop it down to 3, maybe 2. Just because I, as of right now, get my Yamigedos pretty consistently. Sometimes a little too consistently. So we'll see if tampering around with those numbers might change up the recipe at all. Next, we have 4 copies of Backfeeding Source. So, cast costs, put 100 demon from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Counter, put the top card of your deck into the gauge, draw a card. Then, for this turn, if you have a monster with Yamigedo in its card name on your field, damage dealt to your opponent cannot, by card effect, cannot be reduced. You can only cast this once per turn. So Athora, that's a nice can't be dealt by effect damage skill you got there. Too bad. I'm just too strong now. I'm just too strong. I will have all the effects. All of the defects. Next, we got 4 copies of 100 Demon Sorcery. Yamigedo. Basic Nullify, obviously. You can only cast it if you have 100 Demon on your field. And when your opponent attacks on your opponent's turn, obviously, because it'd be weird if you can do it during your turn, since your opponent can't attack you then. But, obvious things are obvious. 3 Ghetto Shields. Kind of another standard Nullify. Pay a gauge, nullify the attack. Can't be nullified. Simple things like that. Next, we got 3 copies of Evil Deity Sorcery. Unorthodox. Wow. Masama. Couldn't read it for like 5 seconds. I'm sorry. Cast cost, put 300 demon monsters from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck in any order and choose one of the following effects. If you have a monster with Yamigedo and its card name on your field, nullify all abilities of all monsters on your opponent's field. And counter, for this turn, all 100 demons on your field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is nice. Very nice. Then we run 100 Demon Sorcery No-Brainer, because it's a no-brainer, in my opinion. Kind of straightforward. You choose a monster on your field during this turn. When that monster attacks an opponent's monster, put a card from the attacked monster's soul into the drop zone and destroy one of the attacked monsters. So if somehow you can work this into like Ozzy to Haka and stuff like that, it'd be pretty cool, even though that will never happen. And lastly, 100 Demon Sorceries. Wow, why can't I read? Oh no. Pathic, there we go. I can't read for some reason. Basically countered during this turn, all monsters and items in your opponent's field get minus 2,000 power, which is quite clutch sometimes, if you have Heavenly Spectre with its 9,000. Not too many cards are crazy overpowered that, so it's still nice. I don't personally run any impacts in this deck just because I don't feel like I need impacts. Then again, I could always change. If you have some suggestions, I'm down and open for those. If you like this deck profile, make sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't so already. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord. Maybe someday I'll get unbanned. Someday. Maybe not. Check out our shop. Links will be down in the description below. I think that's basically going to wrap it up for me. So above all else, stay glassy, y'all.